Hey guys, welcome back to Yoga with Leona, your site for everything about yoga and breast cancer recovery. Today's video is another one of our short little mini videos of a lovely back stretch for those of us who have a lot of stiffness or tightness in our low backs. So that was definitely me. It's actually the reason I started practicing yoga way back in the beginning, is all this low back tightness and soreness that I had. So if you sit in chairs a lot, or you have sort of a flat low back like I do, there are some big muscles deep in our low back that travel through the pelvis and attach to our thigh bone, called the iliopsoas. And the iliopsoas is this big muscle that travels through the pelvis, and if it gets really tight, it can result in some sort of forward flexion of your pelvis and your low back, and that can cause a ton of tightness. So it turns into this vicious kind of cycle. If you sit in chairs, so the iliopsoas gets even shorter, and then it's tighter, and then before you know it, you're all scrunched forward, and it's really hard for you to bend back. So this is a really great stretch for that. It feels delicious to me. It's super relaxing, and it's easy to do. All you need is a yoga block. So let me show it to you. It's a supported back bend called supported bridge pose. So you're going to come to lie on your back, and once you land on your back, you might sort of windshield wipe your knees side to side. Just let that low back relax a little bit before you get into the bridge. And then you're going to bring your feet about hips width distance apart, knees are pointing up. You're going to push your hips up into the air, and you're going to stick that block just under your sacrum. So it's important that you get the block placed correctly. So you don't want it under your low back so that your butt's hanging off the end. You want it just under the sacrum, so under the big bony part, flat part on the back of your pelvis. And then you rest your arms out to the sides, and you can stay right here. So this is sort of a relaxing and simple way to get a slight back bend into that low part of our back. And so it stretches out that iliopsoas. So you can stay right here. If you want more of a stretch, you can try stretching one leg out, and maybe even both. And then you can see how that deepens the stretch even more. So you can just stay here for a nice long, 8 or 10 breaths, feeling those muscles in your deep low back and pelvis stretching out. Now notice, I'm noticing myself here, I'm holding a little tension in that area because it's a little uncomfortable. It's a weird position draped over the block. So release and relax that tension. Really allow yourself to melt onto the block. Feels so nice. If you want even more stretch, you can pick your hips up and make the block even taller. So you put it on a higher setting so you get even more of a back bend. And again, you can stay right here, or you can stretch those legs out, really melting yourself across that block, really opening up that forward flexion that we get in our low back and pelvis sometimes. And for my girls who've had a deep flap surgery, you've had all that scarring across the front of your belly, you may also be at particular risk for that forward flexion of your low belly and pelvis. So this might feel really nice to you as well. Of course, as always, be gentle when you first start any kind of new stretch. Let yourself ease into it, never feeling pain, just feeling a nice, gentle stretch. And over time, if you practice this, it'll really help take away that low back stiffness and soreness. When you're ready, you bring your feet back flat, you lift your hips up, and you just remove that block. All right, so give it a try, see what you think. Oh, it feels so good to me. Opens up that low back. Great for after you've been traveling, or if you've had to sit in a desk for a really long meeting or something. So good to give yourself a little back bend, a little opening of that iliopsoas muscle. All right, guys, have a lovely day. Namaste.